Welcome. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and you are an important part of our EWTN family. And we are so delighted that you have welcomed us into your home. We certainly would love to hear from you. So please send us an email with a question or a comment to jimandjoy@ewtn.com. Well, today our guest is Camille Pauley. She is the co-founder and president of Healing the Culture. You could visit their website. It's healingtheculture.com. And we're excited to have Camille. She's worked for many, many years with
It's 3 decades.
yes, Father Spitzer. And she appeared on EWTN on
Many years back.
what was it?
Life on the Rock.
Life on the Rock with Jeff Cavins.
Yeah.
So she said she was 23 years old then when she did that, but still talking about the same thing. And so, because it's all about truth, and we're going to learn ways and how to love, how to listen, how to elevate the truth in people's lives, in our families, and especially in conversations, and the negotiables and the non-negotiables. And so it's going to be a great show.
St. John Paul II spoke about a culture of death. And Pope Francis speaks about a throwaway culture. And Camille Pauley speaks about how to build a new culture of life.
Yes.
You know, what do we need to know? How do we articulate to this culture? How do we have conversations within our family, within the church, with people who are pro-choice people? How do we address them? Where do we pull from in terms of scripture, in terms of natural law, in terms of philosophy? And Healing the Culture has developed numerous curricula for high school students, college students, and now they have a whole program for kindergarten through the second grade. So always be ready to give an answer for the hope that's in you, but do it with gentleness and with respect. That's what Camille Pauley is all about, Father Spitzer is about, and Healing the Culture is all about. So plenty more to come. We're going to learn so much together. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Welcome back. Well, you are at home with Jim and Joy, and today our guest is Camille Pauley. She is the co-founder and president of Healing the Culture. You could go to the great website. It's healingtheculture.com, and there you will find resources for children who are from kindergarten all the way up to adulthood, and ways that you can be educated, full knowledge about healing the culture and how you can participate in developing your own way that God's using you in your little sphere of influence. No pun intended with Father Spitzer. But Camille, tell our family first a little bit about yourself, and then you co-founded this beautiful ministry with Father Spitzer, and you've worked with him for over 30 years.
30 years.
So tell our family a little bit about Camille.
Sure. Yeah, so I have been involved in pro-life work my whole life. Like you mentioned, I started out on Life on the Rock way back 30 years ago and met Father Spitzer when he was just starting out. He had this whole idea for a new philosophy in the pro-life movement. I was in my 20s, we made the connection, and off we took. But it didn't always start there. When I was little, I wanted to be a movie star. I wanted to be an actress. I went to theater school and I studied television and loved it and got hooked. When I was 16, I think it was about 16, I met Gregory Peck,
I love that.
who is a legendary actor from the 40s, 50s. And my father worked in TV, so he brought him in and I got to meet him backstage. And I said, Mr. Peck, what can I do to be a famous movie star like you? And he looked at me so hard. And then he just said, it's not what you think, kid. Do something more important with your life. And he walked away. And I was so crushed. I was like, you just ruined my life. And it was so beautiful because it was just the next week that a friend of mine from high school said, well, why don't you come and witness with us in front of an abortion clinic? She was a Baptist. So we went and we did that. And I was so moved by watching these women walk in with hope and walk out destroyed.
Yeah.
And it moved me, and I realized what Mr. Peck meant. And
Yes.
I said, this is what I want to do with my life, is help these women. And I've been doing this ever since.
Yeah.
Well, how did you meet Father Spitzer?
Yeah, he was on the board of the Right to Life organization in Washington State, where I lived, and I went to work for him, not knowing what I was getting into.
You didn't know who you were going to work for.
That's right. I had no idea who this guy was and what was this all about. And I had to sit with him for about 4 hours as he went through the whole curriculum of his idea of how we needed to change the culture.
And he could talk for 4 hours.
He could talk for 4 hours, and I sat and listened with my pen like this. You know, I was just like, I never heard this before. It was amazing. He has this whole beautiful philosophy of the human person, and it's what's missing in our culture today. And so our organization grew out of that. And the whole point of it is to help the pro-life movement with a segment. You know, nobody's doing this work. Nobody's doing the work except for us, of helping people to change the whole view of what they're living for and what they're looking for. Because you've got wonderful parts of the pro-life movement that are doing the fetal development and the legislative work and the after-abortion, care and helping women, with crisis intervention and all these beautiful parts. But nobody was supporting and helping these groups by saying, look, if we don't change what people are living for in their hearts, it's like planting seeds on rocky ground. And you may change somebody because of a picture or a statistic or an experience, but they're just going to change back again when times get tough. And so what we do is we change how they view all the important words, all the important terms like happiness and success and what love really means to them. And we get them to completely convert how they're living and seeing those words. And then we talk to them about abortion, and they start to see abortion is undermining my opportunity for happiness. Yeah, it's undercutting my chances for real success, right? It's dragging down my quality of life. It's completely blinding us to what true love is. And people start to see that in a very different way.
And the world is telling them just the opposite. That if you have an abortion, that is going to solve this problem.
Yes.
And you're going to be able to
That's
hit
right.
the reset button and go right back on with your life.
Very
like
clever.
nothing
and
ever
you
happened.
see this all the time, Joy. I know in your pregnancy clinic work, you see this where they come in and they really think that the abortion is what's going to make me happy. I can't be successful if I don't have an abortion. The quality of life of my family is going to suffer. I can't love this baby. And you say, how are you defining all these words? And of course, Father Spitzer, some of your viewers may be familiar with what he calls the 4 levels of happiness, right? You've got physical pleasure is the most basic level. It's the lowest level, and it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But our culture so pushes it that it's almost like people are living for it as their meaning in life, and you end up in a crisis if you live for that. And then there's ego gratification, the sense of self-esteem and success and being better and powerful, which is good. It has some good ends, but not as an end in itself. And this is what the pro-abortion movement and what abortion clinics focus on, right? That woman's desire or her boyfriend or husband's desire for level 1 and level 2 goods. And they focus on it, and they get the woman to look at that as, you're going to lose all this opportunity. And then the woman's convinced, I can't be happy without this abortion. And then she has the abortion. And the real part of her, the part of her that seeks level 3, self-sacrifice, right? Gift of self, commitment to the other, right? And level 4, surrender to God, whose ultimate love, that part of her dies. You know? I think the statistic is 60% of women who have an abortion say, part of me died in the abortion. And that's the part of them that died, is that level 3 and level 4, knowing that they were meant to do something good. So we turn that around. And our hope is to do that before people encounter a difficult pregnancy. So they're already operating out of a sense of the reality of what happiness is and what success is and what real quality of life is all about.
Well, so many of those people are in our churches.
Yes, they are.
Because we'll see 1,000 to 1,500 new cases, women coming in concerned about their pregnancy and what they're going to do. 80% of those register as Christians.
Yes.
Numerous Catholics there. And so we talk about our work in saving these little ones and helping women to choose life. It is a part of the new evangelization.
It is.
Because these are people who are baptized, people who are confirmed, people who have gone through the rituals and have received the graces of the Lord. But as you said, really haven't thought it through or been taught on what it means to be a human being, what it means to be truly feminine, so that when they are thinking about these decisions, they're thinking on those two levels again, my own pleasure, my own senses, my own ego, and hey, I have a job, hey, I've got to go to college, hey, I'm getting married, I can't have this baby.
Yeah.
We have people aborting their children and then getting married, going into the marriages, having
Already
aborted.
wounded, already.
And these are people
Very
with
wounded.
Christian backgrounds.
Yeah.
And so
Well, and-
it is a new evangelization that we need in the church as well as outside of the church. These aren't people that are all outside of the church that are having abortion.
You're exactly right. And you know, I struggle with these levels every day. You know, level 1 and 2 in our culture is so pervasive, and you're hit over the head on it with television and movies and, you know, marketing and education and in schools and everywhere around you, and politics and the media. Everywhere around you, you're just seeing this elevation of level 1 and level 2,
Yeah.
physical pleasure, materialism, you know, ego gratification, control, power, independence. This is what makes you happy. And I struggle with that. So you can only imagine, you know, a woman who doesn't have the resources and the support that I have and the knowledge of faith that we have, who's Christian, but is onslaughted with all of this, and then the baby comes that she wasn't expected. And so that, you know, that pressure to avoid is so strong.
Right.
We need to reach people when they're very young, and then follow them all through
Yeah.
their education.
And it's in the course of the conversation. I used to do quite a bit of counseling, but I don't do as much. A lot of the women are doing that counseling. I mean, the conversations on love are so critical.
Yeah.
You know, because what do you mean when you say love? That is what we ask them.
That's right, good.
So we ask them, could you unpack what you mean by love? And, you know, here's this one that you're with, you're separated right now, but he's pressuring you or almost pressuring you to abort this child. Is that love, or is it usury that he got what he...
Yes.
But, you know, we don't have much time.
Very true.
But, you know, people are not having these conversations, which you articulate so beautifully through Healing the Culture. But if we could have those conversations, the bulbs do begin to go off. Because as John Paul II said, St. John Paul II, don't be afraid to share the gospel of life. They may not know it by the gospel of life, but it's already written on their hearts and on their minds.
Yes,
So we
it is.
shouldn't be afraid to have these conversations with our family members and others, because it's there, but it's dormant.
I love how you say that, because nothing that we're teaching is alien to people. And sometimes we look at our opposition like, you know, oh, they're monsters, or oh, I'm so scared of them and I don't want to get in a debate with them because they're scary. They're not scary, they're just like you and me. They have the exact same heart that we have. They long for God, they long for truth, they long for beauty and justice, but they don't know what these words mean. I'll give you an example, right? We go into colleges and we speak to these very secular audiences where 99% of our audience is pro-choice, hates us, doesn't want us to be there, you know, and we start talking about things like justice. And we'll say, you know, the unborn child has a natural right to life. And they'll say, well, what about my rights to liberty? And we'll say, well, you do have a right to liberty, but your right to liberty is under the priority of life. Why? Because these rights are naturally ordered. There's a hierarchy or a prioritization of these rights, right? Your right to liberty is dependent on the right to life. Without the right to life, liberty's a moot point. Well, they never thought of this before. They've never heard logic before. They don't even take logic classes anymore. So they don't see the beauty of this logical progression, that there's actually a prioritization of our rights, or that our rights are objective, or that our value is objective, right? I was debating an abortionist at the University of Berkeley in California, University of California at Berkeley some years ago. And he made this claim that, you know, these unborn children who have Down syndrome basically should be dead because they don't deserve to have any life. You know, there's no good that could come out of that relationship. And so abortion was actually a sacrament, because abortion is just doing what nature failed to do. And these kids are cheering him on. You know, there's 700 kids in this auditorium. And I said, abortion, this isn't about a failure of nature. This is about a failure to love. You know, when you say that, you're basically saying that somebody who has a disability has no capacity to love and no capacity to bring love and elicit love into the world. That's a problem with us, right?
Wow.
And these kids were silent
so
because a lot
powerful.
of them had disabled,
Right.
you know, siblings or knew somebody disabled on campus, and you challenge them. We're so
Yes.
afraid to challenge and say, wait a
Right.
minute, what do you mean when you say somebody who is elderly can't have a high quality of life? Or someone with a terminal illness can't have a quality of life? What do you mean by quality of life? This is what Father Spitzer's always bringing in. And inevitably, it's a level 1 or a level 2
Right.
interpretation of quality of life.
Right. Defining it as they can, they're of value, they can be affirmed, but not what they, like we have so many of our family at home, who are in nursing homes.
Yeah.
And we rally them to participate in 40 Days for Life to say, you know what, maybe you can't get out to the clinics, but you could pray from your bed. There's things that you can do. You could pray for all the other warriors who are out there because you want to include them to say your life is of value. You do have dignity, value, and worth, and we cherish you. We don't want to dismiss you as to say, okay, you have no value and we're done with you and we get to alienate you.
Yeah. So here's what you do. You teach people these 4 levels of happiness. You show them how that changes their definition of happiness, success, quality of life, love. It totally transforms how they start to see people with disabilities, right? People with terminal illnesses, unborn children. It transforms how they start to see complicated situations like the life of the mother. Now you have 2 people involved that we have to care about, not just one. And when you get people to move their mentality into level 3 and 4, instead of being stuck at level 1 and 2, you can now open the door to all of the arguments that the pro-life movement usually starts with.
Right.
Logical arguments, right, about the definition of a human being. Ethical arguments about the ends don't justify the means, or the principle of do no harm, or intrinsic dignity. Principles of justice, like inalienable rights, and your right to do something shouldn't force a duty to die on someone else. We usually start in the pro-life movement with those arguments, inalienable rights, and it's a human person, and here's the biology, and here's the logic. But it doesn't hit people well, because remember, you're hitting people who have been planted on rocky soil. And they'll listen and say, this is great logic. You can be logical if you want, but I don't buy it. I get an abortion when I need one because that's what I need to be happy. So if you don't do that work first and plant people in the good soil, they will never listen to these incredible principles that our church teaches on logic and truth and justice and ethics. Because they will say, that's good for you, but not for me.
Right. Or that's your truth, that's not my truth.
Yeah,
And then it's just like, or they'll say this, I know I saw my baby's heartbeat. I saw my baby in the sac. Gestational age was 9 weeks. And they'll come in and they'll say, I just don't want it. And I know that sounds so selfish, but I have the right to do this. I'm going to do this. And you just, and they go and they leave and they abort because they've never been, and you're praying the whole time. You're in there like, Holy Spirit, arrest her, that her heart would turn to the love of the child and not just for the love of herself, that she would learn the love of the other. And what a blessed gift she's been given.
Yeah.
But our culture lives at base. I mean,
It
that's
does.
where we are.
It does. And we need to change that.
Speak about these levels, of happiness and how it relates beyond abortion to assisted suicide and youth in Asia. Because again, it's troubling, I said earlier, how many within our own families and within the church, maybe we've even participated because we didn't understand.
No.
So a lot of people, especially aging people, hurting people, who are pro-life, anti-abortion to the core, they say this, I don't want to be a burden. If I get to this point, I don't want excessive, means. And I don't know what they mean by excessive means, because there can be excessive means in the last, part of your life. But I don't want to be resuscitated.
Right.
That was Joy's mom, who's now home with the Lord. I said, Mom, what do you mean you don't want to be resuscitated? When don't you want to be resuscitated?
Right.
Like if you started choking right now or something happened to you, you wouldn't want to be restored or revived in this or resuscitated or, She said, oh no, I don't mean now. I mean like right when I'm dying. So you have to clarify
That's
that.
important
Right.
distinction.
That's important, right.
Make
You
sure
need
you
to know
write
that.
that down.
Right.
The whole thing of being a burden, I think there's a lot of people who are pro-life regarding abortion who are saying like, I don't want to infringe upon your life and marriage and family, your goods,
Sure.
to keep me,
You know, I love that bumper sticker. I want to get one of these bumper stickers that says, Lord, let me live long enough to be a burden to my children. Oh, please be a burden to your children. How do you think your kids are going to learn about love and compassion and generosity and self-sacrifice and commitment and all those things that you know make life worth living if you're not a burden to them? If you take away all the weak people, the burdensome people, you end up with Nazi Germany. Is that what you want for your children? It's so hard for us to be humble enough to let people into our weakness. But Christ did on the cross. So oftentimes people will say, look, when I'm at the end of my life, I don't want to be a burden to anybody. You know, I don't want anybody, I don't want to live like that. Just put me out of my misery and don't let me have to live in a way that's, you know, debilitating and weak and embarrassing. And when we're young, we build up all of these myths about who we are. I'm beautiful, I'm popular, I'm powerful, because we don't want people to know we're weak. When we're terminally ill, we are weak.
Yeah.
When we're old, we are weak, and everybody knows it. And at that point, it's time to start defining who we really are. I am weak, and I need you. And
Yes.
without you, we can't know love. And it's at that point that quality of life really happens.
Well, we're going to take a break at this point and hold you over for the final segment. Go to healingtheculture.com, healingtheculture.com. We'll be right back. Plenty more to come. Don't go away. Welcome back. Having a powerful conversation with Camille Pauly from Healing the Culture, healingtheculture.com. Just quickly, we were speaking about the levels of happiness, and we were sharing off air about what if we're stuck in level 3, which is a great place to be, but that has to be transitional as well, of service.
Yes, it
I'm
does.
that kind of guy. I want to serve. It's my love language.
What
That's
I
what
do.
But we can have people that are really dedicated Catholics, Christian people, and all of a sudden we can't do. We're incapacitated.
That's a terrible
And so
place
we
to
feel like
be.
my life is worthless.
Worthless, yeah. And you can get, if you've got a really, really great person who goes out and does stuff, and then I'm terminally ill, or I'm elderly, or debilitated, I think my life is worthless and meaningless. But level 3 is not all there is. There's level 4, which is surrender to God. And it's often at the end of life that we realize most our need for God. And that blows open the door for faith and forgiveness and relationship with Him and the depth of contemplation about His love for us and all that preparation for what heaven is.
Yeah.
We don't want to waste that. That crisis on level 3 is a very important
It is.
moment to move into level 4. And your life has great meaning at that point,
Yes.
greater probably than all the years preceding it of all the good you were able to do in the world.
Yes.
Well, and some people get stuck there, and they do.
Yeah.
And now, because we're in a critical situation, we have to have others do for us.
Yes.
And now someone has to serve that doer. And they're not doing very well with that,
It's
right?
hard, but what a great learning opportunity.
Right.
Right? And you're always learning, and this is where the rubber hits the road. Can you put your beliefs into practice and let other people serve you when you spent so much time serving others?
Well, we only have a very brief amount of time left. Start introducing us to ways that you communicate this, to whom, in what forms, and we
Sure.
can continue it tomorrow.
Sure, we've got a whole toolbox of materials at our website, healingtheculture.com. There's a program for college students where we come and train for free on their campus. It's called Life Advocacy Student Training. We have a program for high school students called Principles and Choices. It's textbooks and workbooks and teacher materials. There's a play that we wrote and a game and everything, and they can get that on the website. If you've got a high school age kid, you can use it in a school, a parish, or at home. And then we've got a program called Respect Life University, kind of like Prager University, only pro-life. And so we've got all these little short 5-minute videos that you can watch that deal with everything from rape and incest, life of the mother, disabilities, all the hard questions that you can watch and share with other people. So we've just got a bunch of free resources for people, whether you're talking about high school, college, or adult, that people can use.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's good
Well,
stuff.
thanks so much for opening up the door, big place for Healing the Culture, and we'll continue this conversation tomorrow. You've done a great job.
Looking
Thank
forward
you
to
so
it.
much.
Thank you.
All together, we will build a new culture of life. Life, marriage, and the family will prevail. Keep it on EWTN. God bless you. God bless all your loved ones. You're never alone. We're all in this together. Bye now.